A labor dispute raises serious questions about how the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention operates inside one of its most important buildings. And it's not a pretty sight.
The Fox 5i team obtained dozens of photos as well as videos that were taken by a former worker inside that building 18. And that's where the CDC handles deadly pathogens like anthrax and even rabies.
Yeah, well, outside scientists tell Fox 5i team reporter Randy Travis the pictures are disturbing and really intolerable, in fact, right?
That's right, Russ and Sinead. These pictures are all from 2013 and 2014, but workers say they come across some of these conditions even now. Yet no one from the CDC was willing to explain to us what you're about to see. This is video outside the viral diseases laboratories at the CDC. A worker says someone had moved a refrigerator and left behind 2 vials on the floor. Jack Turner says they've been there for a couple of days. So he took out his camera once again.
You can see like valves just laying around and nobody never moved them or picked them up. We saw a big valve of blood that they missed, and that was really scary right there.
Were you wearing any protective gear?
No, you don't wear protective gear when you're going to do service. Imagine somebody would have crushed it when they moved the freezer out of the way, or somebody slipped and fell on it.
What do we want? Contract! What do we want it?
Jack Turner is not a scientist. He spent nearly 10 years working for Four Seasons Environmental, a company contracted by the CDC to change the light bulbs, fix the plumbing, monitor the heating and air conditioning, keep the buildings running. Last year, Four Seasons workers at the CDC successfully voted to unionize, complaining of low pay and unsafe work conditions. The company appealed that vote and has refused to negotiate ever since. So the union decided to bring their safety concerns to us.
They don't know what everything is in there, but they've got sense enough to know that ain't right.
Like this picture taken after Turner says Four Seasons workers unclogged a backed up sewer line that had flooded some of the labs in Building 18. The pictures show lab materials called pipette tips had somehow gotten down a drain.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
We emailed the pictures to Dr. Richard Ebright, a Rutgers molecular biologist who's testified before Congress about past CDC biosafety mishaps.
Pipette tips should never be in a drain line. All drains in all sinks in labs should have screens that would prevent any solid matter of size from entering in the drain.
Four Seasons worker Jack Turner took more pictures. A secured door he says he found open. Blood, he says, left on a scale near the biowaste incinerator. And silicone caulk around the gaskets of an autoclave, a machine used to sanitize any infected material from the high containment lab where scientists work on some of the most dangerous diseases.
Was it fixing some cosmetic damage, or is this repairing a seal? If this is repairing a seal, this is unacceptable even as a temporary repair.
Is that the way to repair a job like that?
No. That's cutting corners, being cheap.
That autoclave continued to function like that for 4 years?
Yes, 4 years.
Did you ever raise your hand and say, hey, this isn't right?
Well, I've mentioned it a couple of times and I was blowed off.
Over the years, the CDC has had to explain some embarrassing biosafety mistakes, like back in 2014. When CDC workers in Building 18 were potentially exposed to live anthrax. They all quickly got preventive medication. But what about the workers who keep Building 18 running? Four Seasons workers say they got their meds a week later, and only after they complained.
It's like we second class, the contractors.
The CDC declined our offer to look at these pictures, saying they must research dangerous germs in their labs, and the nature of this work means there will always be some risk involved. Keeping this risk to an absolute minimum is essential. Four Seasons said it's investigating the circumstances surrounding the pictures, but indicated many of these items were already addressed. The company takes any issues regarding the safety of its people or those working on its project site very seriously.
I was there for 10 years.
Last month, Four Seasons fired Jack Turner, one of the main workers who led the union efforts. What do you hope to accomplish by this interview?
What I hope to accomplish is the CDC can get their act together.
One can't maintain agents securely with open doors, tubes lying on the ground, material being deposited into drain lines. It's a very strong argument for reassigning that responsibility for oversight of biosafety and biosecurity to an independent agency. And these photos just strengthen that argument.
Four Seasons workers also say they used to change out their uniforms before they ended their shift each day at the CDC.
Now they say they're required to take their uniforms home and wash them there. And they don't like that because they're not sure what they're bringing home.
Yeah, and that makes sense. What's the status of that labor dispute now?
The National Labor Relations Board ruled in favor of the union. And the company, Four Seasons, has indicated they're going to take their appeal now to the federal court. So it's not going to be over, apparently, anytime soon.
Yeah, when I picture the inside of a CDC lab, I picture spotless.
Yeah, that was sloppy at the very least.
Right. Randy, thanks.
All right.